All right, and we are live.
Yo,
Sports update. Adrian Reid was good.
good. Yo,
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we see the NBA Finals wrapped up on Tuesday. Was that Tuesday or Monday? No,
Monday.
Monday. NBA Finals wrapped up Tuesday. Boston won it. Me and Adrian got our picks right. So, uh,
Told you,
so
Reid.
yes, sir. So Adrian, what was your wrap up of the finals? And we see Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP. Did you think he was deserving, or do you think he should have went to Tatum?
Yeah, I would have went with Tatum, but because overall, I like what Tatum did as far as his versatility with pass and rebounding, everything else he did. But Jalen Brown guarded Luka. He did a solid job, made it hard for him. He was more consistent, I would say, throughout these finals. So I'm not mad about it. I think you go either way. I can't really argue it. Much deserved, but all in, I think both guys were happy. They want to win this championship. Got a little pressure off their backs. Finally won their first championship. So wait, I have no problem with Jalen Brown coming home with that MVP.
Raj, give your input. I got a little monster.
All right, cool. Yeah, it could have went either way, but we got a little man in the building.
Got a little Reid in the building.
Yeah, it could have went either way, but it was going to be one of those two guys, Brown or Tatum. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. So yeah. Hats off to Boston, man. I didn't really see exactly where a lot of people. It seemed like a lot of people was on the Dallas train leaning towards them, but I didn't really see where Dallas had an edge over Boston going into that series. Like I just didn't see it. They're not there yet. They're a couple pieces away. So, but yeah, hats off to Boston. We'll see if they can repeat them next year. Yes, sir. Reid, you jumping in there or?
Yeah, now that he's gone, he's crying a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think Brown was deserving. I think he was pretty, like Adrian said, he was the most consistent in the finals. And yeah, that's all I'll say since he's crying. So it's just gonna be annoying.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so big news yesterday. Tranger Langdon, Pistons new GM, head of basketball operations. He ended up firing Monty Williams after one season. So seemed like he's going to break this whole thing down. He's cleaning the house, got rid of Troy Weaver, getting rid of Monty now. So Adrian, how'd you like the move of him getting rid of Monty? And who are some candidates you see as potential next head coach for the Pistons?
Honestly, I'm not mad at got with Monty. Obviously, you can kind of tell they didn't want to be here after that 28 game losing streak. As you can see, last summer the Pistons do everything the kitchen sink at money to get him to come here. He wasn't going to take the coaching job initially to deal with his wife's breast cancer or cancer thing. The Pistons kept throwing more money at him. He kept coming with all these excuses, but eventually he took the money and he ran with it. So he just didn't give the full for effort. So I'm not mad at the Pistons for letting him go. I'm mad at the timing. I get it. This organization has been a dumpster fire since Tom Gores has been running it. If you want to fire him, cool. You should have, just like Troy Weaver should have been gone as soon as the season ended. Then you should have knew Monty was going to leave if you're going to hire a new GM, because typically GMs want their own guy so they can be in sync together. But with that being said, I guess it is what it is. I guess they're having a press conference tomorrow at 3:30. Gores and Trajan Langdon, he'll be talking for the first time, so it'll be interesting to see what they say, and we'll report back on it next week. But as far as guys, I've heard JJ Redick was a hot guy name. I don't know why. No coach experience. As we know, he takes the LA Lakers job. I believe that would be a dumpster fire, but we can get into that later. But here's some guys like maybe a JB Bickerstaff, who I think will be good because he did a good job. I know he got fired, but he developed Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley. So I think he's a good coach who can develop him. And we know we got to somewhat strip this roster down. I don't know what they're going to do. If they're going to keep Cade, what they're going to do. I know he's going to sign an extension. You got guys like JB Bickerstaff, James Borrego, which would make sense, I guess, because he's a Pelicans guy. It seems like these Pistons and the Pelicans have been tied lately, especially with Trajan Langdon. Kenny Atkinson's a guy I've heard. He's the Warriors assistant coach. You got guys like Chris Quinn, up and coming with the Miami Heat staff. He was a former player. Sean, I can't remember his last name. He's Sean something. He's supposed to be the defensive guru for the Dallas Mavericks. You're not gonna get
Sweeney.
Yeah, there you go, Sweeney. You're not gonna get a guy. It's gonna be tough for him to get an established guy who has options. They're gonna have to go for either a guy who's who's out to prove something, who the league doesn't believe in, or a guy who has no experience. So I mean, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. So we'll see what happens, but you know.
Yeah, I think it was obviously weird timing. The draft is basically
Next Wednesday.
today, 6 days from today. So I think it is strange timing. I don't know if maybe he just had a meeting with Monty. Trajan Langdon has had a meeting with Monty, and then maybe 2 meetings down the road he didn't like what he thought was going on. Maybe Monty's still not in the right headspace. Who knows? Like Adrian said, I mean, it took all of King's Midas's gold to get this guy to coach for the Pistons because he didn't know if he wanted to. He was just coming off that heartbreaking playoff loss with the Suns, and everybody had them winning, and it was really. I think he was in a really tough spot, and it was like my wife. Okay, we'll give you more money. I don't know, Detroit. Okay, we'll give you more. So it's just like it was a weird situation for him to be in, I think, and I don't think this was the right team for him to be coaching. Do I think he'll get another job? Yeah, but yeah, I think this young team was not the team that Monty was meant to coach. Right? He needs a team full of vets. He needs like a Lakers team or a Dallas, which they aren't getting rid of their coach. I'm just throwing people out there, but yeah, it's tough. I don't know who to hire. Like Adrian said, you're either going to have to hire an unproven assistant that's from another team, or you're going to have to, hopefully that there's a guy that's a retread. Now, I say retread. I don't want whatever that guy, JJ Borrega. I don't want him.
James Borrega.
I don't want him. I don't want him because
I heard Frank Vogel's name as well.
No
yeah,
chance.
I wouldn't want
Not
Frank Vogel either. Although, I mean, he was with the Suns. He was with the Lakers. I mean, he has playoff experience, but how much of that was the players that he had? Who knows? But yeah, I don't think Borrego would be a good fit. He didn't do it with a mediocre Charlotte's roster. I don't think he's going to do it with this team. I said to you guys earlier in the group chat, it reminds me more of like a Quinn Patricia signing because they're just friendly with each other. The guy I like, I don't think he'll take the job, but Raaj, you like him too, is Sam Cassell. I think would be a good guy to come in here. Obviously, they just are coming off a championship win, so probably not his first priority. The guy that I like was the Kenny Atkinson guy. I've liked him for a while. I liked him when they were doing the coaching search before Monty came along. I liked him as an option. So proven winner on a team of proven winners. I think he can come in here and kind of coach the team the way you want to. They hired that Vincent guy who was supposed to be a shooting guru, and he saw the stats. He added like 10% shooting on a bunch of players' 3-point shots. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to be the new head coach. They brought him over to be part of the staff. Who knows? I mean, like Adrian said, they'll have a press conference tomorrow, but it's such a weird situation right now, man. With everything happening so close to the draft, I just don't know what's gonna transpire.
Yeah, if they're having a press conference tomorrow, it'd be nice if Tom Gorse would actually answer some questions from the media, not the selected guys that he picks. Actually be open to answering some real questions. Yeah, stop ducking and dodging. And try to take some type of accountability, which he's been ducking. So Adrian, it seemed like Trajan Langdon, he's tearing it all down, got rid of Weaver, moves on from Monty after one season. Do you think he entertains any trade offers for Cade?
I think you at least have to have the discussion, not saying they're going to pull the trigger, but just at least talk to it with your front office guys and whatever you're going to do and see what the best route is to go from here. Obviously, I believe Cade's going to sign the extension, but even if he signs this free extension that I believe the Pistons will offer him, he's only going to give the Pistons a short amount of time to show him that they're going in the right direction and that they can come up from this rock bottom pit that they're in. So I believe he can. He's got to figure it out. He's got to go in one direction or the other. But this train that Cade is not good and needs to rob and this and that. We believe the Pistons are the worst shooting 3-point team in the NBA with along with the Orlando Magic with the playoffs. They have some stars, but it's just you got to give them help if you're going to keep them. But if you're going to keep them, make a decision. If not, you got to do what you got to do. But I believe Trajan needs to answer these questions and not give me the cliche answer. And we all know Gorse isn't going to say anything tomorrow. He's just going to sit there in a rock star jacket and look like he's off coke and just an idiot. If I'm being honest with you guys, I kind of wish the NBA, Adam Silver and the NBA would just step in and do what they did to the Pelicans at the time when they made them sell the team. They need to literally get this man to sell the basketball team. This guy's been the owner since 2011.
11
Yeah, the Pistons have had 6 head coaches in that time.
made the playoffs
once, and also never won a playoff. Not even a playoff series, but a playoff game. I believe he has.
They got swept by the Bucks in that 16.
Yeah, with the Blake Griffin team when Blake was playing on one leg. What? Just this franchise is one of the, I believe, 6 or 7 franchises that have at least 3 titles. Half of the league doesn't have a title. The league thinks this team is a laughing stock. You don't want to be that around the league. You got all this. They're gonna have all this cap money. What's that? What that's gonna mean if nobody's impressed with your? One of them wants to take your money. You gotta take a direction and figure out, man. This is the worst guys we've seen this franchise. You guys can remember we were in middle school, going into high school. The Pistons were still somewhat relevant, but ever since LeBron James went and scored that 25 straight, which was heartbreaking, the Pistons just have never been able to recover, man.
Well, hey, pump the brakes. You old heads are going into high school. I was like 11 years old when they were good.
Yeah, I'm probably.
Yeah, 08 was really the last year.
I don't know, man. The thing about it is everybody has that, like they said, or like Adrian said, you have all this cap space, but who's going to want to come here if you know you're the laughing stock in the media? Stephen A. Smith, I don't know if you guys saw, he said Monty should be thanking the Pistons for letting him go, that he doesn't have to be a part of this organization. He's got a free $65 million to leave Detroit. Like we're at the point where the Lions are good, the Red Wings are decent enough. Like the city has had like monster success with the draft and this Grand Prix. Like the city's coming back, and then you have like people still thinking that it's the same Detroit, city, and it's really not. So it's a shame that the Pistons aren't good, because when the Pistons are good, Detroit's a fun city to be in. It's probably one of the bigger sports teams that they root for. We have 4 great franchises with great history that just have really bad ownership right now. The Tigers also, I know we'll get to them, but the Tigers have only won 4 World Series in 130 years of being around, 132 years of being around. So like Adrian said, I don't want to see a cliche answer. Like if they're talking about Cade, like we plan on signing Cade, but we're also listening to like all offers. Like just be truthful about it, because that's what we want to hear. Like all our players, we're going to try and help them, but we're also listening to offers on guys like Ivy and guys like Duran and possibly Asar and all these guys that are young. And people keep talking about like the 3 guys that they need to sign are Nick Claxton, Malik Monk, and the other guys, forget Michigan State player, point guard for Orlando, Gary Harris. Like why like those 3 guys are just like. And then what? You're going to pay those guys $20 million plus a year to come here and play here? Like Malik Monk's the only guy that really intrigues me, because he was playing really well in Sacramento. But other than that, like Nick Claxton, yeah, he's a good defender, but he doesn't give you any. He gives you 8. He's Isaiah Hartenstein. He gives you like 7 point. He averaged 7.9 and like 8 last season. I get it. Duran's defense isn't great. He's 20 years old. He still averaged a double this season. He's got time to learn. Like. You need to bring the right guys in, obviously the coach, but you also need to bring guys in to help your younger guys. So that means that pieces have to be on the table. I know we talked about it earlier. They talked about it on the sports radio show here locally, that would you trade Cade for Keldon Johnson and 3 picks from the first-round picks from the Spurs? They wouldn't be the picks this year. Maybe, the next couple of years, because the Spurs have a boatload of picks like OKC. I mean, I'd entertain the idea. As much as I love Cade, I like to see this team win. I would like to see Cade go and be successful somewhere else and kind of doubt the, shut up the naysayers that think he's not that great of a player. I think if you put him with Wemby, could have seen, that would be the ultimate test too. If he goes to the Spurs and plays with Wemby, like that, it's like what could have been in Detroit. Like it should have been in Detroit. But so, yeah, I mean, I hope the press conference tomorrow is something interesting. And I hope that it's not just what it was when they hired Monty and when they hired Troy Weaver, just a lot of ums and filler words. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to hear, truth. Take a note out of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes' book and be unique and be truthful and be what everybody wants to hear. Like be gritty. I know it's cliche now with Detroit and everything like that, but that's what we are as a city. We're gritty, and you got to embrace that, just like the Lions did. And look, everybody fell in love with how ridiculous Dan Campbell is and how smart Brad Holmes is. If Trajan Langdon can come in here and do something like that, and they hire the right guy, I mean, this franchise could turn around overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if he help his former team and could possibly get BI up here. And so yeah, So
Yeah.
we'll see, man. We'll see what they do. We got the press conference tomorrow. See if they hire a coach.
Check if Gores is going like this a lot tomorrow. Maybe be looking at that.
By the way, Claxton, they want to pay Claxton $25 million. Is what I'm hearing. He only played 25 minutes a game last season. I mean, he had almost a double-double, 12 points, 9.9 rebounds a game. So just put that out there. Evan Fournier's got a contract, the option. So the Pistons need to deny that, decline it. It's like $20 million. So just a couple of things. We'll see tomorrow though. What Gores and Trajan got to say, and then we can go from there. So we'll have a lot to say about that next week.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll see what the Pistons do. They got to see if they hire a coach before the draft. Draft's coming up. Just stay tuned with the Pistons.
Raj, before we continue,
Pine City's tapping in. Appreciate you.
The Ionescu assist hit, but you still got time. You got one more quarter. Brianna Stewart's at 11 points. You guys still got time.
She got to get it going for me.
Hey, she was at 5 and with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. So I think you got time, Raj. I think that one's hitting. I think you're good on that one.
Okay.
And they're up by double digits.
Who's up by double digits?
New York. It's 73-56.
Oh man. Hopefully they don't pull her. Hopefully she plays some.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. I did think about that, but I think you got time. I think you're good.
All right. Fingers crossed. All right, so Reid, JJ Redick, new coach of the Lakers, 4-year deal. How do you like this move?
I mean, I don't love it for JJ Redick's sake because as Adrian not being a Lakers fan and me, I mean, I like LeBron, but I don't like Lakers fans. They're like the Cowboys fans to me, but it's almost in the sense of like if he doesn't make the playoffs, I think they could probably expect him to make the playoffs every year that LeBron's there. But if he doesn't make the playoffs, probably 3 out of the 4 years, I bet you Lakers fans will be calling for him to get fired for one. For two, I think it's just a bad job to take because you are in such a hot seat every year. Like, well, you can have one, but like if he doesn't make the playoffs this next season or they don't make a play in the game, like people are going to be like, why do we hire this guy? This is the dumbest move ever. I think once he started a podcast with LeBron, I think the writing was on the wall for Darvin Ham. I think people should have known that he was going to probably be the next head coach for the Lakers. I think the whole Dan Hurley thing was kind of just smoke and mirrors, so people didn't think that they were going to hire JJ Redick. But yeah, as soon as he got that podcast with LeBron, that was his interview because they have to appease LeBron in LA. So yeah, it's good for him because it's a head coaching job, and there's 30 of them in the world. It's for NBA, or is it 32 teams in NBA? I think it's 30, right?
Yeah, 30.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, good for him. Do I think it's a terrible situation where you can shoot yourself in the foot super easily? Yeah. Do I think I wanted him as a Pistons head coach? I think it's good because he's a younger guy. He's a point guard. He seems fiery about the game, passionate. Yeah, he would have been good guy, but there was no way he was coming here over LA with a person like LeBron. Last thing I'll add too, do I think he wins an NBA championship in the 4 years that he coaches? No, I do not. And I think he'll get. No, I'm not even gonna say that. Now that I think about it, that's crazy. I was gonna say he'll get one contract extension. I don't even know if he'll get a contract extension because after LeBron's gone, that team is just a toilet bowl.
So you don't think LeBron wins another ring before he retires?
Unless he ships off and like finds like some super team unless he goes to like Boston or like Dallas with Kyrie and Luka still there. Like if he goes to one of those, he's not winning another one with LA. No.
Yeah, like me and Reid talked about earlier. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I'll give them, when they make a good move, I'll give them credit. But this franchise, let's look at it. They haven't been super successful in the last 10 plus years. I know they got that ring in the bubble, but they've made a lot of egregious errors. They traded away Lonzo and Kuz and BI. They got rid of KCP when they won the championship, got rid of Kuzma. But that being said, I'm a JJ Redick guy. I like him. He's basketball intellect. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about. I didn't really think too much about the LeBron podcast at first. I know LeBron actually doesn't do a lot of podcasts or interviews as he's playing. I think he's really saving that for when he retires. He's going to have a lot to say once he finally hangs the sneaks up. But I I don't think JJ finishes his contract out with the Lakers. If you think about the Lakers franchise, the coach and any guy who's coached by LeBron James always ends up being a scapegoat, even if his teams aren't good enough, and even if it's not the
Unless you're
coach's fault.
Spo.
Yeah. So imagine David Blatt had the best record in the league when he got fired, although I don't think he would have lasted too many years there. But T. Lue came and helped LeBron. Frank Vogel was out. Darvin Ham was out. So it just goes to show you. I just don't think it's gonna work. JJ Redick has no coaching experience. If I'm him, I'm gonna go to somewhere where I can slowly work my way up into the coaching profession. Shout out to him though. I know there's a lot of probably pissed off coaches who have been working their asses off to try to get a coaching job and get a spot, and who's worked as assistant coach in the league for years, and he comes out of nowhere and he just gets a job for one of the most prominent franchises in the NBA.
Those 5 guys that you said earlier, Adrian, those guys would probably all be suitable. Or like Sam Cassell would probably
Sam Cassell has been working his ass off to try to get a coaching job, and he just cannot get a sniff at it, man. It's just crazy. So there's a lot of politics in it, guys, as we know. But they've been saying, LeBron's been saying that he's waiting, that they don't want to hire a coach based off him because he's retiring sooner rather than later, and he wants to try to shift it over to Anthony Davis and the other players. But what do they have? What can the Lakers roster do that is going to put them in position to win the NBA championship, especially in the Western Conference? Dallas is only going to get better. Luka's 25 years old. Kyrie had a renaissance season. OKC is getting better and older and maturing. SGA is a superstar. Anthony Edwards, I believe, can be the face of the NBA with Minnesota. You still got the Kawhi and the Clippers. You still got Denver Nuggets, who I know they lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves, but Jokic is arguably the best player in the NBA. The Western Conference is just too stacked and loaded. Anthony Davis is good, but that's when we can get him on the court. Austin Reeves, do you think him being the Lakers' third best player is going to win them a championship? They have no other shooting. D'Angelo Russell's a free agent. It's a lot of stuff. I know they can probably go get a guy, but who wants to go into that turmoil, just being on that type of pressure and that hot seat? I just think as good as LeBron is, he just doesn't have it in the tank to be able to give you that for an 82-game schedule. It's bits and pieces. He needs Anthony Davis to pick up the pieces. He needs a third superstar, but I think JJ is walking into a pressure cooker, and it's just the only time I can tell when the volcano finally explodes. But I'm happy for him, but I just don't think long-term it works out for them. They don't win a championship, in my opinion, not a chance.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it, too, is what you touched on, is like they traded away like everything. I mean, they have, 17 this year, I think, in the first round. But again, it's a low draft. Like, you have to hit on somebody in this draft at 17 that is at least a suitable starter. And then not only that, like after this year, you give up your first round pick that goes back to New Orleans because they got rid of it, because they gave you this pick. And then I don't think they have another first round pick after that, right? They don't have another one until 2027.
I believe, yeah, and that's the one they're talking about them leveraging to go get a star. What are you doing?
Yeah, literally.
So
you're gonna have. So then, if you want, a star that they've been linked to is Donovan Mitchell. Like, if you're gonna have to give up a lot more than 2027 first round pick and Austin Reeves to get Donovan Mitchell. Like, it's gonna cost you a lot to get a superstar. I mean, obviously, maybe you have some younger guys that could maybe possibly pan out. Like, maybe you can get rid of Rui again. You can resalvage him. I don't know, but I mean, he's a great defensive player. It's just crazy. Like, there's nothing that you can really offer a team, at least me as a GM of the Cavs, and I say, okay, the Lakers are calling me because they want Donovan Mitchell, or I don't know, who's a team that he's been rumored to. I can't think of anybody else that really needs a point guard off the top. Philly, let's say Philly wants. I mean, they have Tyrese Maxey, but Philly is offering me something more, or Orlando, or somebody. Orlando's offering me Franz Wagner and like 3 picks for him. I'm going to take that over Austin Reeves in a 2027.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. So, yeah, once LeBron is gone, if Redick is, because I think he'll be gone in the next 4 years, and if Redick is still there, he's going to be in a bad situation because you got Anthony Davis, who we know is injury prone, and by that time he'll be well into his 30s. And then what else do you have? You don't have anything else.
Maybe they take Bronny at 17.
That's what I think they're going to do, dude. I'm telling you. You said they can get him in the second round. I don't think they're going to risk it because they know that that LeBron wants to play with him. I think a lot of people are thinking, like I was thinking earlier in the season, hold him hostage and just if LeBron wants to play with him, Lakers got to trade that 2027 pick and a Rui Hachimura for Bronny James, or they have to trade. Like that's what I'm saying with the Pistons. If he is there in the second round and you're 53, why not? Why not just take the flyer? Like I was joking around about the fifth pick, like to do it, but if he realistically isn't like he didn't work out for you, obviously he retained his eligibility, right? So he can go back even if they do pick him. But like I would throw that pick away just to kind of hold leverage against the Lakers if he wants to play with Bronny that badly. And if he decides to play for the Pistons, guess what? Either LeBron comes and plays here, or he doesn't, or you just sell a lot of Bronny's number 6 jersey, a lot of James 6 jerseys that are Pistons. And in 25 years, you just tell your kids that it was LeBron that played here and not Bronny. Like the old Scalabrini meme. In 10 years, I'll tell my kids I was MVP.
Yeah. Alex says it's tough to coach in the NBA. Most coaches don't pan out. Maybe it's not the coach.
Hey, I couldn't. You said it. You said it perfect, my friend. The coach is always the scapegoat, no matter what. They got to find somebody to blame. We're just in an era where coaches don't get a chance, man. As soon as 2 years and they're out, it just keep
Especially
you said the coach, man. What does that tell you? Yeah, they've been talking about ownership and Genie Bus with the Lakers aren't spending the money and aren't willing to do these kind of things, but it's just like. As we know, LeBron likes veteran players, so he keeps getting all these guys that aren't panning out, and it doesn't give the franchise any options because they feel kind of handicapped. Not saying it's all LeBron's fault, but this you ask for all these things you asked for, the Lakers gave you, and then you're still wondering why you're at where you're at. You know what I mean? So it kind of puts them kind of handicapped. The Lakers are a solid team. They're like a middle of the pack team, 6th, 7th, 8th seed, 6th seed at best. The Western Conference, like I said, is too young. It's too good. For you to be this mediocre, and you want to go get a Donovan Mitchell or a Trey Young, you don't have the assets, you don't have the capital to do it. And if I'm a team, why am I going to just hand the Lakers a superstar just for what? No, just because they want to be relevant. There's plenty of other teams that are good that can get the shine and the credibility that they deserve. But just because it's the Lakers, the NBA feels that they owe this to them, which is ridiculous in my eyes. So. Like I said, once Kobe left, I just don't care about this franchise and never will care about this franchise. It just, if they're good, they're good, but they seem to always be talked about. They're on ESPN during the finals and playoffs talking about what's LeBron going to do. You realize we're in the middle of conference finals and NBA finals, and we're talking about, LeBron, what's he going to do with Bronny? Like, come on now, man. But I'll get off my soapbox about it, but it's just, Lakers are good, I'll give them credit, but they're just an average, mediocre team. If it was the Indiana Pacers, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
If it wasn't LeBron, we wouldn't be having this conversation, to be honest with you. But real quick before we move off this, I was just thinking about that. Like, yeah, you like the Trey Young thing, Donovan Mitchell thing. Like, they can't get him. But I was thinking, I don't know what assets they have, and obviously, Cat is an asset to trade away. But Donovan Mitchell or Trey Young, I think more likely Trey Young, would be so good in Minnesota for Anthony Edwards. If you had Trey Young, Anthony, as much as I don't like Trey Young, he can still shoot, and he is a great facilitator and gets a lot of assists. If you had him, Anthony Edwards, and Rudy Gobert, even though I hate Rudy Gobert too, that would be a good lineup. Donovan Mitchell as well. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is as good of a facilitator as Trey Young is, but he can definitely play really good. So you get Anthony Edwards, a good point guard. I think he eats up, and then you keep Gobert, who can just get boards. I think he eats up like OKC because they don't have any bigs. They would give Denver another run for their money. Phoenix, I think, is over the hill, even with Budenholzer being their head coach. That would be scary. That's like my thing. I would like if I was a Timberwolves fan, that'd be my dream to go and get one of those 2-point guards, or someone go rescue De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely got to upgrade their point guard situation because Mike Conley obviously isn't the future. So for sure.
Yeah, he's what, like 36, 37?
Yeah, he knows it too. But you need guys like Mike Conley in the league right now. What the NBA is really lacking, guys like a Mike Conley. So, but that's a story we get to a different day with.
Yeah. I like Conley, just not as my starter. I'd rather him come off the bench. Yeah. All right, so we did see a trade today in the NBA. Alex Caruso got traded from Chicago to the OKC Thunder for Josh Giddey. I like this trade for the Thunder a lot because we know how talented they are. They finished first in the West, but ultimately they got bumped from the playoffs. Shai Gilgeous didn't have enough help, and they're just so young. They didn't have an experienced guy, a Swiss Army knife, a guy like Alex Caruso. I think he's a perfect fit for him because he just does so many things well. Like if you look at what Drew Holiday does for Boston, he plays defense, rebounds, shoots. He does some of everything well. He's a Swiss Army knife, and I think that's more so what Caruso will be for OKC. He's a veteran Swiss Army knife on a young team. So I like that move a lot for OKC. So how'd you feel about the move, Adrian?
I love it. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I would more so compare Caruso's game to maybe a Derek White kind of guy. The NBA is going to start looking at a lot of type of like Swiss Army knives, like those kind of guys. Derek White was able to do in the NBA Finals. So he lost half his tooth, but man, threes, plays defense, blocking shots all over the place, man. It doesn't take a lot to have a high motor, man. He comes up big. A vet, 30 years old. I think it's a good idea to get some more veteran leadership in that locker room to help the guys out. I think OKC is just all about timing and maturing and just going through the process like we talked about with Anthony Edwards. Just gotta go through the fire. You can't just get to the championship right away. You gotta earn your stripes, and I think that's what OKC did this year. I think it's only on the way up for them in Minnesota as well. So I think a great trade. I don't know what the Bulls are doing. I don't know if they're gonna blow the ship up. I know they want to trade Levine. Who knows what this means for DeRozan? We'll see what direction, but ultimately, I believe it's a great move for OKC. Josh Giddey, I mean, he's had some trouble, with the whole situation with the underage girl thing, and who knows if that's true or not, whatever the case may be. But let's see what Chicago does. I don't know what that means for Lonzo, because I mean, I guess they're going to use Giddey as a primary point guard. Or either Levine, one of them, somebody's getting moved in Chicago. Patrick Williams. Zach LaVine, DeRozan may stay, but you got Lonzo maybe coming back too. So I don't know what Chicago's doing, honestly.
I know DeRozan's a Cali guy. I think he goes back to Cali, like the Clippers or the Kings or something.
Raj, you just took the words right out of my mouth because the 76ers are interested in Paul George, and I think you could see something where Paul George ends up going to the 76ers and
I would love it.
And switches and goes back with Russ and Kawhi. I mean, I know Paul George is an LA guy or is a California guy too, but those guys, if they get back together, as a team that I was real disappointed. I mean, I don't know what else I should have expected considering Kawhi has always hurt as much as I love him. I really want to see them go far. But yeah, I mean, it was you said you think Chicago won the trade. I mean, yeah, I think they won the trade because they get the vet and they get the defense that they need. But I also don't think it was like a huge win. It's like I'll say it's like a B+ for OKC, B for Chicago because Giddey, again, he facilitates the ball. I mean, he averaged like 12, 6, and 4 last season. He can be a solid guy. He's 21. He had a contract coming up. They don't need to pay him if they didn't want to. They have $1 billion picks. I think they have 2 in this year's draft where you could potentially get a guy like a Dillingham maybe falls, for a point guard, or you could find some guy in this draft that's young and shoots well and is a good point guard with 2 draft picks. So, yeah, do they win? Do they need more veterans on that team? They need to somehow maybe figure out how they can package 2 picks together and maybe another player since they have or future picks and maybe try to go get a Donovan Clingan because they need a center badly because Chet Holmgren basically power forward at this point. He can't rebound really, even though he's just a stick bug. Wemby's better at rebounding, but I mean Chet's just a stick bug out there. It's tough. But yeah, I mean, add a veteran presence, add the defense. Good for them. I think they just need a big man, and OKC will be right as rain. I mean, if Duran was a little bit better defender, I would say call them and offer them for picks since they have a boatload of them for Duran. But yeah, I don't know. I think Caruso will be helpful, but I also think he's going to come off the bench. I don't think he's going to start.
Yeah, even we've been hearing Claxton a lot for the Pistons. He'd be a better fit for OKC.
Yeah, I absolutely would. Absolutely would.
Or honestly, I don't know how you guys feel about this. Even a guy like Draymond, you add Draymond and Caruso, those could be 2 good pieces for him.
You need 5 more, Raj. 5 more with 3 minutes left.
5 more points
with 3 minutes left.
Man,
keep an eye on it for you.
This one close. She's still in the game.
Yeah, she's still in there. She's right there. She's defending right now.
All right, we cut this one close.
She's got a block. Oh, I got called a
Third.
Cut this one close.
I'm sweating it for you, Raj, and I'm not even winning any money out of it.
Yeah, I'm right there.
You might have to Venmo me like $5 for this.
for the update. All right, cool. All right, so the NBA season wrapped up. We know who the champions are. We know who the Finals MVP is. We know who the MVP is. So I wanted to get Adrian's current top 10 players in the NBA following this season. This is Adrian's top 10 list. His current top 10 players in the NBA. Let's hear it.
I struggle with this a lot, man, because I know there's gonna be guys I'm missing. I know people aren't gonna be happy with this list, but hey, I just kind of just went for it, and I'm gonna stick to it. It's
Adrian,
always ever
gave
changing.
mine in the beginning of the season. I left LeBron off of it, so don't feel bad about anything that you do. LeBron,
all right.
Crazy.
Would you like me to go from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Yeah, start at 10 and go to 1.
Yeah.
All right. I tried to use a little bit of this year. I don't want to be too recency biased, but you got to, I try to not to be a prisoner of the moment, because I think in the society we tend to forget about guys, and we tend to just live in the moment, So I try to put a little bit of everything in the equation and formula. But here we go. At 10, Anthony Davis, Los Angeles Lakers. I still believe Anthony Davis is a top 10 player in the league. Arguably could have won a Defensive Player of the Year. He played his most games this year, I believe, in 5 or 6 years. Top 1-2 in blocks per game. Rebound, I believe he's top in the NBA in rebounding. But when Anthony Davis is on, man, he's unstoppable. He played a good series against the Nuggets. Nuggets were just a better team. It's a better matchup for them as well. But Anthony Davis is still one of the top players in the league as long as he stays healthy. At number 9, we got SGA. Runner-up for MVP this year. Oklahoma City got them to the 1 seed. I believe he's a superstar. He developed well. I know he had a great season, so I got to throw him in the top 10 list. He's going to lead this OKC team possibly to an NBA championship. Number 8, still got to go with the best shooter of all time. That is Steph Curry. Still amazing, still unstoppable, man. He's still got a lot of years left in the tank. Number 7, we go with Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics. He didn't get Finals MVP, but good. Showed up in Game 5, the closing game, 30 points, almost had a triple-double. Number 6, who I believe will be the face of the NBA, and that is Anthony Edwards, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes, Anthony Edwards. Got the Minnesota Timberwolves where nobody thought they could get to the Western Conference Finals. I believe his stars going to keep rising. He's great with the media. Goes out in the game, talks trash, but one of my favorite players in the NBA. And then at number 5, I can't believe I'm saying this, but LeBron James still playing at an amazing level. Arguably, he's still one of the best players in the world right now. Playing father time is like Tom Brady, man. He still continues to play well. I know it's not always like it used to be, but in spurts you see it. Still was able to get the Lakers the playoffs. I know they got split, but he was still, I believe, averaging 27, 7 and 7 this year. Still playing at a high level when he needs to. And here we go at number 4, Luka Doncic. Lost NBA Finals 4-1, but Luka continue to get better and better. He needs to work on his defense. He needs to get in better shape. He needs to stop whining to the refs. But when he's on, he's on. He seems to get to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game winner in Game 2, and was unstoppable with Kyrie Irving. Number 3, Joel Embiid. He played practically on one leg in that Knicks series. Did a great job, but they'll be back next year. I think if he can stay healthy and not have the fluke. He broke the Sixers scoring record for a season in the game, but he was unstoppable in that Knicks series. And number 2, still going my boy Giannis Antetokounmpo. Too bad for him that his last 2 years, bad luck from the Bucks. So we don't really have a temperature on what the Bucks have done, because 2 years ago Giannis hurts his back in Game 1 where he lands on it. He's not the same. Then 2 weeks this year before the playoffs start, he pulls his calf and doesn't even play in the first round series loss to the Pacers. So, but I still believe he's the top player in this league, and he's been dominant. And at number 1, I don't think anybody can argue with it. 3-time MVP, Nikola Jokic. What more can I say? The Nuggets lost to Minnesota in 7 round in the semis, but best player in the NBA, man. Not even gonna argue it.
Should be 4-time MVP. I like the list. Do you want me to go, Raj, or you want to go first about the list?
Yeah, go ahead.
I like the list. I think it's good. I would put Tatum probably ahead. I would put Tatum further ahead.
Okay.
I would move Joel Embiid a lot further down. I would move Joel Embiid behind. So when I say ahead, I think Tatum would be ahead of Anthony Edwards. I would move Embiid
I don't think
behind.
you didn't have Anthony Edwards in your top 10, did you?
Yeah, he did. He was
did?
7. He was
I had
6.
him at 6.
6, yeah. And
okay.
Tatum was 7. Edwards was 6, right? So I would move Tatum to 6, Edwards to 7, Embiid back, and everybody else. Well, actually no. So 5, everybody else move Embiid back to 7 or 8 or whatever it is. Move everybody else up, and then Tatum ahead. Because Embiid to me is just he's. I want to say Matthew Stafford, but it's like he's in such a poor organization that just hasn't seemed to win. I feel like if he went anywhere else, he'd probably win. That'd be like another thing where it's like Embiid's not going to win a ring until he goes somewhere else, in my opinion. Like LeBron won't win another one unless he leaves and goes somewhere. Like if Embiid goes to Dallas, he'll win one. Embiid goes to not Chicago, Boston, obviously he'll probably win one. Like he needs to get out of Philly before he wins a ring. Another thing I don't really like about his game, and it's just the way that it goes nowadays with centers in the league, he's just kind of a free throw merchant, in my opinion. Everybody was talking about a 62-point game. He got 42 of his points from free throws. I think he shoots one of the highest free throw percentages in the game and free throws per game. Giannis is pretty close up there, and I love Giannis, but I think Giannis has a more dynamic game. But yeah, I would just move Embiid way down the list. I've kind of fallen off this whole after the trust the process era, and he hasn't been able to take them after the Kawhi loss. And again, they played Toronto after that. I think that's the furthest he's ever going to go in Philly. That shot that Kawhi made against Philly, and what was that? That was the game before the Eastern Conference Finals, correct?
2019, yep. Yeah.
So I like the list overall. I think it's still a fine list. I just think Embiid is too high. I'm just out on him, and people can call me a hater if they want. I've seen what I've seen, and I've seen enough. He's either hurt. He's like Anthony Davis to me, and Anthony Davis at 10. He's either hurt or he's healthy and he's averaging a lot of points, and then he gets eliminated in the first round of the playoffs.
I left Jaylen Brown right off the list. I had him at 11, 12, somewhere in there with.
Did you have like 3 honorable mentions?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant, and I would go probably. Go Devin Booker, somewhere around them.
Add him to the LeBron Embiid list. Yeah. He's not winning a ring until he goes somewhere else. He's not winning a ring until he goes somewhere else.
KD kind of choked in the playoffs a little bit this year, but I still believe he's definitely he's definitely in that range. He's definitely still a top 15 player, but it's just Phoenix is slacking right now. Same thing. I had to leave Kawhi off as well because he's not there in the playoffs, man. Every year it just seems to injuries always seem to be the issue with Kawhi.
Raj, I hate
Wemby's not on there yet,
but
so don't be surprised I didn't put Wemby on there.
30 seconds. There are 30 seconds. She's got 17 points. She should be at 19. She had an easy layup, and Eskew threw her the ball a little late. And
oh my gosh!
So she needs to hit. She needs to hit a 3 here at some point. I don't know how good she is at threes, but she needs to hit a 3 here to get you over the hump. She's 1 for 3.
Damn, man. 30 seconds left. I don't know. It's probably not looking too good.
You're like, hey, now you know how I feel. All those bets I sent you guys over the last couple of days where it's just one loss, one leg.
I was feeling good about that one too, man.
I was too, because she's getting like 20. She's averaging like 22 points a game or something.
Yeah, especially going against the sorry Sparks.
All right.
Yeah,
with no Cameron Brink. You need my ACL.
Yeah. Get better. We need Cameron to get better. She'll get better. Yeah. She'll be back.
Get better soon.
Yeah. Adrian, I like the list. Only thing I would move, you had Anthony Edwards 6, right?
Yeah.
My only thing, I would move him down. I think that's a little too high for him, man. I think he's top 10, but just guys that got the rings now, the Tatums, the Stephs, I got to put them over him at this point. You got to accomplish more. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the top 10 to 12 best players in the NBA right now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But those guys just have the accomplishments, the credentials. I can't put them over Steph or
It's
Tatum
the
or those
favorite
guys.
player bias. The favorite player bias. Hey, I'm a sucker too.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. I like where I have Tatum. I believe I should. I actually switched it right before I did it. I had Jason Tatum at 6 and Ant-Man at 7.
Listen, man, we did this in the beginning of the season with me. You're just never going to win where people think that you have guys. I mean, I thought the list was fine. Again, the only person I'm just not sold on is Embiid, and I
Fair enough.
haven't been sold on him since 2019.
Two of my three favorite players aren't even on the list. So
yeah, Embiid is a great dominant player. It's just injuries. If Embiid could give you 65, 70 games a year, he'd be top 2, top 3 MVP every year.
Yeah,
it's just injuries. Even
17
this year,
points, Raj. 17 points.
Man,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, it is ended heartbreaking.
Damn. All right.
I was like, let's end this thing now.
Yeah, well, let's move on to the next topic here. So Adrian, Ryan Garcia, it came out. They're suspending him for a year. They're going to fine him $1 million. The Devin Haney fight, they're ruling it a no contest. They take the loss back from Haney. He's now back undefeated. It came out that they're giving him the positive for the PED. So Adrian, what do you take of this whole Ryan Garcia situation?
I don't know, man. It's just a mess. If he did take PEDs or tested positive, there's no room for it in there. I think Ryan would have been fine had he not took the PEDs. I think he still would have been able to, be just as dominant against Devin because he's a bigger guy, he's strong. But I guess we'll never know. Ryan's been off his rockers even before this fight, and as you can see, he's been all over the place. He's always in the news. Did you guys see that he got into it with Caleb Plant last weekend? I guess he said something about Caleb Plant's wife. He's just all over the place. He actually just tweeted. He's been tweeting like a mad person. So I'll read you guys a couple of tweets that he said. Jeez, Ryan. He said this was 2 hours ago via his Twitter account. So I'm gonna read you guys a couple of his tweets. I really hope boxing is good without me. I fought everyone and was willing to. They have turned their back on me. I'm innocent. I stand by that. I don't care what everyone says. Gun, yo, my head. I say I didn't take PEDs. Then he said boxing is dead. Now he says no. I'm gonna expose the whole game. Say cheese. Boxing messed with the wrong one. I'm a dig, then dig deeper. And then the last one I read it said, y'all never went through what I've been through. I'm innocent. You don't know what I'm feeling. I've been fighting since I was 7. Someone cheated me. So basically, Ryan's going on a tangent right now. And then there was a video. Devin Haney had a tweet where he was dancing in the bowling alley, and Ryan Garcia tweeted 26 minutes ago and said the devil doing that gay 2-step homos for Garcia. So this man is just this is courtesy of Twitter page people. So this is not coming from me. I'm just reading verbatim what's on the page, so nobody be offended. Just,
quote.
Oh yeah, quote unquote. I'm reading what the guy said. So we all know Ryan's been all over the place right now. I think this doesn't really change anything. I mean, Devin, we all seen the fight, so I mean, Devin's gonna end up making him look good right now, I guess, but he's gonna redeem himself and he's gonna go fight again. Ryan, I think says he wants to retire right now. He says F boxing, he's mad, but he'll fight again eventually at some point in time. But this whole rant and stuff that he's been on just it's a little crazy to me right now. So
okay, so I know about the story, but can any one of you explain what the PED was that he took? What is it supposed to do?
Let me look it up real quick. I can tell you. Hold on. Well, you good for that one? Let me look it up.
Help him like recover and training, which I probably assume it's something like that. It's something that's supposed to make him stronger. I don't assume it's anything like that. I assume it's probably for recovery. And the thing that stinks is it'll be the old. I mean, it could be the old Bush where like 10 years from now they're going to come out because it's happened in football with a lot of things that help guys recover. Where it comes out and it's like, okay, that actually wasn't a PED. Like it's fine. It was something that was okay. Whether this will happen or not, I don't know. Is Ryan Garcia an absolute nutcase? I think so. Do I think he's good for boxing? Yeah, because he kind of puts on that show that people want to see in press conferences as like the crazy person. Kind of how McGregor was like kind of towards the back end of his success in his career in UFC. You guys know I'm not huge boxing guys. I think it's kind of lame to take it away from him. I think regardless of PEDs, I still think he would have beat Haney in that fight. I don't think that's what put him over the top. I think Haney could probably fight another top guy and probably lose. He didn't look great. Haney just didn't even look great in that fight, and that was one of the few boxing matches I watched. So yeah, good for Haney. He gets his get back with the record. But I think Ryan's good for boxing. I think he's an absolute crazy person. But the sport of boxing needs all the popularity they can get. Well, I mean, they really don't because people still watch it for the most part. But there's just, I don't know. Like UFC has so many characters that you can follow that you can fall in love with, and I don't think boxing really has a whole lot of that. You have Tank Davis, who I don't know a lot about, but I know that he talks his talk, kind of like Floyd 2.0. Canelo's getting old. Benavidez, I think, is the guy's name. He's supposed to be getting pretty big. Like, you need a guy like Ryan who's a character that can come in and sell fights, and people are interested in him because he is that crazy person. And they either, one, want to root against him and watch him lose, or two, they want to root for him and watch him beat the guy that is the Tank Davis, the Devin Haney's, the top guys, the Lomas, the top guy. I don't know. They're obviously maybe different weight classes, but I'm just saying they want him to fight the top guys because he is interesting to watch. That's what makes Jake Paul so attractive to people. He just knows how to talk and he knows how to do the WWE skit. So, do I think it stinks? Yeah, but boxing is also a very, and I'm sorry to say this to you guys as boxing fans, it's a very corrupt sport. So, until they figure out, what they have to do, UFC's getting that way too. The judging in UFC has been horrible. So, they got to figure out how to wash these guys away and kind of realize it's boxing of new and not boxing of old that's ran by either a mafia or some sort of inside job.
All right, here's what the PED that he tested positive for is called Osterine. It is it attaches to proteins in the body known as, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this word right, but androgen receptors. When Osterine binds to these receptors, it tells muscles to grow.
Wow.
People use Osterine for athletic performance and voluntary. Oh shoot!
Hopefully he comes right back in. So it is a PED for
people. Oh shoot! The whole. Shoot. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, having some technical difficulties right now. Here we go. We got Bundles back. We got Reid back.
All right, back. Are we back?
Can y'all see me?
Raaj. No, we can't see. We can't see you. It's like dark.
Oh no!
All right. We'll keep going.
I wonder if we lost Raaj completely. Either way, yeah, we can keep going. But yeah, it seems like it's something that would like help recovery and help you maybe get a little bit stronger. Most likely, it's just recovery.
Yeah, so it's a lot of bodybuilding. They use to market a lot, so it's definitely for that. It could be for what the rehydration causes is like when boxers weigh in and they gain more weight. Yeah. So it could have dealt with that.
Also, something I think is very dumb to have in a clause. Did they do that because Ryan fights in a different weight class than Tank, or is it what is the?
Well, they have a thing where a lot of boxers would tell you that they walk around at a bigger weight, so they drop weight. So once they weigh in, they just go ahead and just gain the weight back anyway. So they're not even fighting at what they weighed in anyway. So he's gonna get bigger faster. Have you seen Ryan lately? He looks like he blew up anyway. So you can tell when he's boxing that's not the true weight that he walks around. So I guess it's just try to get a weight advantage or whatever. Try to get down. So. Who knows? But I know it's not approved by the Boxing Federation. Yeah, it's not even FDA approved. So these guys know they know.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it could either be somebody set him up and he got screwed. Which I mean, De La Hoya is a fox. He's an absolute worm. So he could have done it, but yeah, I don't know if he ended up taking it, and you get caught, you get caught. The way he's acting kind of sounds like a guilty party.
I mean, he got a year suspension. Take the time off, get right, figure it out at the end of the world. Can bounce back from it. I don't think the PD is anything that gave him a super crazy advantage or whatever made him stronger or anything like that. So that might be the good thing. But you're not gonna stop hearing from Ryan no matter what. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he needs to
messaged
stay on
Raj. I don't
social
know if he's
media
going to
while
get
his
back
butt
to us
hurts.
in this, but I mean, we can. I'll move on to a topic that I know he was going to want to talk about was the
You
Tigers.
guys can't see me?
What I'll ask is, do you
now
think?
we can't see, we can hear you.
Oh, is he in here?
Oh,
Yeah, I heard him.
I don't
I'm
hear
looking.
him at
Yeah,
all.
yeah. I'm looking at y'all. I thought y'all could see me.
Yeah, I don't see him at all. I didn't
guys
hear
don't-
or see him.
Nah, he's like coming in and out.
Garcia
Juice.
juiced. It wasn't tainted supplements. Okay, I mean, and then Axe said, "Oh, here we go. He's got him back up. Garcia did in fact need the roids. That's why he took them to begin with."
Could be right, Act, but
Yeah, you could be right about that. I don't know. I mean, I think Haney didn't look like himself in that fight. I still think if Ryan fought again without PEDs, it'd probably be close to the same result. I still think Ryan wins, honestly, if they fight again, personally. But I mean, maybe he did need the juice, maybe he didn't. I just think he looked like the better fighter on the night, and I don't think a PED is going to make you fight like a better fighter. I mean, it may make you recover better. You won't be as tired or whatnot, but I think that Ryan overall that fight looked like the better fighter personally.
Can you guys see me?
no.
That's crazy. I'm looking at y'all.
Well, he keep trying. You want to talk about the Tigers?
Yeah, go. Let's go to the Tigers while we until we see if we can get Raaj back.
So obviously, Tigers aren't batting well. They just lost a series to the Braves 3-0. I think I saw a stat. It was three hits, or no, I'm sorry, not 3 hits, 3 runs in the last 5 games that they've played. Nobody's playing well. My guy Malloy, obviously, he's a rookie. He's not playing well. Colt Keith that has a few glimmers here and there. Riley Green is kind of inconsistent. Really, the only shining spot that you have are the 2 old guys in Canna and Urshela. And then you have obviously your pitching. So do you think that the Tigers should move on from one of these pitchers or maybe 2 of these pitchers to try and get some bats? Or do you think that they should, maybe see what Torkelson can bring back because he's playing well in the minors? And Javi Baez, obviously, we'll get to him afterwards. But what do you think they should do? Should they make a trade or should they keep the ship right?
They absolutely need to make a trade. Trade 1, 2, all the pitchers if you have to. At least 2 of them. Flaherty, Scooble. I keep Olsen. I know he hasn't been great the last couple of starts, but he got rocked. I know Scooble finally got rocked yesterday against the Braves, and I know he lost 7-0. But that's like an anomaly because Scooble, you're putting all the pressure on these pitchers, man. Like it's asking for a lot. Like I said, what's going to happen if these pitchers get down or your pitching goes bad for a week? You're even going to dig yourself more in the hole because you don't have the bats to supplement and kind of work your way through a little funk or what you're going through right now. Look what Baltimore is doing right now. That's a team who you could go get some positional players right now. They just flat out destroyed the Yankees today. I believe they scored 13 or 14 runs against the Yankees today. But you have to, like I've talked about before for weeks, they cannot develop positional players. Like I said, we still don't. The jury's still out on Colt Keith. Jerry's still out on Malloy. He's still a rookie, so he's still learning. Torque, I don't believe it. Riley Green's been coming on a little bit. He's been hot and cold. So we got to go get some superstar players. There's nobody on this roster that scares me from a hit perspective that I'm just afraid of. You don't have a Vladimir Guerrero. You don't have a Fernando Tatis. No, there's no Mike Trouts on here. Just haven't done a good job of getting this farm system together. You got to make it. Do you want to pay? Are you going to pay Scooble whatever Scott Boras is going to want to throw at you guys? Because Scott Boras is good at getting his clients what they want. So and he's I know he's up for arbitration, I believe, after this year. So trade him. A team can get him for a couple years and then they can figure it out and you can get some real value and some real depth for him. Because right now it's not working, but I just think it's about Chris Illich being a cheap ass and don't want to spend the money. Sky Harris, the jury's still out on him. I don't know if he's getting told not to do these things, but the Tigers need to make some moves because what are they, 7.5, 8 games out of the second wild card spot right now?
I think it's 7.5 right now. No, actually, after that loss, it might be 8 now.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that. They gotta just bring these young players up. Bring Jackson Jobe, I believe he's on the IL right now, but bring all these young guys up and see what they got, and you gotta let it go because you want to go with the slow addition, the slow road. Then hey, bring them up and stop using these excuses because you gotta move like the Pistons. You got to move in one direction or the other. You cannot be stuck in purgatory right in the middle. That's the worst place to be in professional sports.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you said. The thing that stinks is that Baltimore needs outfielders badly, and unless you're willing to trade Riley Green, which I know a lot of people aren't because he's 24 and he's not playing great, they really can't trade or get anything from Baltimore. I know Jackson Holiday. There's rumors Jackson Holiday might be on the block for Baltimore if they can get the right outfielder. No way we're getting him, but he's struggling a little bit too as well. Yeah, I mean, Skubal is up for arbitration, like you said, after this year. You have Flaherty for a 1-year deal. I would try and absolutely get rid of both of them. And I know that that Skubal is your best pitcher, but at this point, if you're going to have to give him some money after this year, and if you want to re-sign him by the time let's say you sign him to a 4-year deal, he's going to be 31 at that point. And what is he going to offer you, and how good is your team going to be in those next 4 years? You're either going to have to get really good bats from trades, or hope one or two of these prospects that you have, pans out. But Flaherty's older. I mean, there's obviously playoff teams you could try and trade him to that could use him. Another guy I would get rid of is Casey Mize, because unfortunately after the Tommy John surgery, he hasn't panned out. I don't know when his contract is up. I'm going to look that up right now really quickly. But he's the same age as Skubal. They're both 27 years old. They're both guys that have had
27
Tommy John
already.
Yeah. I know,
God.
crazy to think about, right? But they're both guys that have had injury history. Both had Tommy Johns already. He turned 27. He turned 27 on the 1st of May. So, I mean, freshly 27, but still, he just came off Tommy John surgery. He is. Let's see. The arbitration avoided after this year. He's got a club option in 2025 for Casey Mize. So I would obviously try and get rid of him. Matt Manning's still a little. I would keep Reese Olson. You got him in a trade, probably the only good trade that Alavila has ever made. You got rid of Daniel Norris, and you got Reese Olson out of it, who's been a little bit inconsistent recently, but he's allowed to be inconsistent because he's 24 years old, and he's still been a fine pitcher. In the beginning of the season, he was one of the top pitchers in the league. So those three guys, I think, would be the biggest guys that you should get rid of and try and get a haul for. 27, Casey Mize is still pitching okay. Again, he just came back from Tommy John's. There's teams that could use him. Flaherty, he's pitching great. Teams can use him. He's older.
Got to put that value.
Yeah, exactly. Skubal, he's 27. He needs a contract. Teams could use him. Playoff teams could use him. Go and just do what teams did, like a Juan Soto type trade. They traded Juan Soto away, and they got killer prospect. Abrams, who we just played, absolutely had a field day with this team. So I would at this point, I'm willing to trade the house. Matt Manning I also would get rid of too, because he's not even playing on your team. He's 0-1 with a 4.88 ERA, 23 strikeouts, and a 1.55 WHIP. He's 26. I get pitchers can be older, but when you're 26 and you're playing like that, like you got to sell him to a team that can wait the year to hopefully he can become the Skubal or at 27. So those are the four guys I get rid of. Those pitchers, get rid of those four pitchers. You still have Job, you still have a few other right-handed pitchers down in right-handed pitchers down in the minors. You have that Montoya guy you called up earlier this year, or Montero guy you called up earlier this year. So get rid of all of them. Try and rebuild this thing. Get some guys out there. Get some bats, because you can't win when you're only hitting one run every 5 games or whatever you're doing. You're only hitting 3 runs a game. You're never going to win. As soon as someone called on 97.1 the other day and said, as soon as a team gets to 4 runs, I turn the game off. I said, that's smart, because at that point they're not going to come back. So
they might win that 2-run. Shoot,
yeah,
they've been playing lately. So
the last question I'll ask on the Tigers here for you, Adrian, is Tank the pound for pound best boxer in the world right now? That's a Raaj question.
I would answer Raj's question and say no. It's Terrence Bud Crawford right now.
Yeah, I would agree too. I don't know much about boxing. I watch the occasional fight here and there, but I have watched Bud Crawford, and he seems like the real deal. And yeah, I think he's probably the better pound for pound guy than Javante is right now. But the last thing, Adrian, on the Tigers that I'll ask you about is, do you think Javi Baez is done officially. They say that he's down rehabbing his back in Lakeland. So do you think that he's done?
I do think he's done. I said it last week. I know it shocked you guys. I do think they put him on the IL to make it seem like he's hurt, but he's really not. I think they're just trying to find a way to cut him or do whatever. Look what the Astros just cut Jose Abreu, and they owe him $30 million. So
Yep.
I don't want to hear the excuse if the guy hasn't got it done in a year and a half. I mean, it's not it. It just, you know what pisses me off is when owners and coaches don't want to admit they made a mistake. If you make a mistake, just move off it and just admit if you was wrong. Stop trying to tape the issue. If you made a mistake, just get off it as soon as you can and just admit it, and it would do everybody a service.
Do you think Mike Ilitch, if he was still with us, he would have made the decision to cut Javi already?
He would never even have signed Javi Baez. I can guarantee you that.
I like that. I like that answer. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, now that it's looking more like it, I think he could be on the verge of probably getting out of here, or either paying him the money or trying to figure out a bare bottom trade you could get rid of Javi for. Granted, he offers defense, everybody says, which is okay, but he also offers zero offense. So, I mean, he might not be on this team by the end of the year, and we hope that's the case. Like you said, the great example is Jose Abreu just got let go from the Astros. He was playing horribly. He had a 1.13 batting at 1.33 batting average. I don't know what his OPS was. I forgot to look at it, but yeah, I mean, you have a guy like that, and you just paid him $30 million. I don't know who the owner of the Astros is, but Mike Ilitch is one of the richest owners in MLB, and if you can't justify the $26 million or whatever you owe Javi Baez, the buyout, like then you probably shouldn't be owning the team or whatever it is. So I don't know. He needs to get a little more mustard to him. Hopefully Scott Harris can kind of get something out of him. But Scott Harris said they're not trying to make the World Series or make the playoffs this year. So we can expect hopefully some trades by the deadline, and we'll see. Come July, mid-July, close to August. So
I hope you're right. Just I hope we can see some type of movement. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and the last thing I know that we got told to close out with, so Stanley Cup predictions. Obviously, it was a barn burner the other day. They came back. It's 3-2 in the series now. Florida's still up, but they go back to Edmonton. I believe they play tomorrow. If I'm correct.
Night, yeah, right.
Yeah. So Connor McDavid's been playing like a guy with his head on fire. I think Bobrovsky doesn't know what he's doing. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they tie it up in Edmonton?
I think Edmonton finds a way to win this game and get to a Game 7, but I ultimately think Florida wins in Game 7 and hosts their first Stanley Cup. I believe they're the better team right now. Connor McDavid is playing with his hair on fire. Last game, I believe he had 2 goals and 2 assists, so he's been playing lights out. But I just think overall, this Florida team is just the better hockey team. Like, out of all sports, I feel like hockey seems to be the sport where teams come back from 3-0 or 3-1 down the most and come back to find a way to potentially win the series. But I do think Florida finds a way to close it out in Game 7.
Yeah, I think it's happened 3 times in hockey. They've come down from 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm going to go the other way because I think that the Oilers kind of found their roots and found a way to break through that brick wall that it is Bobrovsky. I think they're going to take it at home, and then I think they're going to go back, and it's going to be a close game because I think they play the last one in Florida, don't they?
Yep, that would probably be Monday. It would be, probably Monday.
Yeah, it sounds about right. So I think they would. I think they're going to go back, and I think they're going to take care of. I think they're going to win tomorrow, and I think they're going to go to Florida, and I think they're going to take care of business. Connor McDavid gets his first Stanley Cup of many. He is the greatest hockey player that I've ever seen. He's probably the greatest hockey player to ever play the game, in my opinion. Skill-wise, obviously, Wayne Gretzky has the accolades, but I think skill-wise, Connor McDavid is the best. So, yeah, I do think they would find a way to win tomorrow. It'll be great for sports, and it'll make that series not boring because I know a week ago I was talking about how all these finals are terrible, and now we get good TV worth watching for sports and hockey because hockey playoffs are always phenomenal. So let's hope that they win, in my opinion, because I want Edmonton to bring home a cup, even though they have a few. It'd be nice for Florida, but I like seeing a team in the far north have to suffer through winters, and the only thing they have is hockey. win the Stanley Cup, that'd be nice. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very all right. Before we close it out, just a couple of quick things I want to address. Very disappointed that UFC 303 main event Conor McGregor and Chandler's not happening. McGregor pulls out. Whatever. Just disappointing. And then 2, Copa America starts. USA plays Sunday night. So look out for that, guys. See how much better the men's national team's gotten. So a couple things to look out for.
Yeah, the men's national team. I've ever since the last World Cup, I've been following them pretty well, and they have a few guys that have foregone their other citizenship to play for the U.S., which is super exciting. I think everybody on the team plays for a top five team in other leagues overseas, whether it's the Premier League, the Bundesliga, La Liga. So. I think I'm going to be excited to watch it. Hopefully they win. They're a big underdog to win it all. I think they're plus 1,400 or something like that.
Yep, so, I believe so.
So I might throw a little change on that just for fun. But 303 is going to be sick because my guy. I know that you and Raj aren't huge on it, but my guy Alex Pereira stepped up and took the Prohaska fight 2.0, so that'll be interesting, and I think that them stepping up to take over that fight and taking over for Chandler McGregor, I almost think it's a better fight, to be honest with you. I'm more interested in that than I am seeing. Much as I love McGregor and as much as I love Chandler, I'm way more interested in seeing that fight.
I agree. I believe Venom, my boy Venom Page is fighting in
Paddy Pimblett
fighting in 303.
Ian Gary.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight, I believe. Venom Page is coming along, so as an older guy, but it's gonna be good. So,
and Jamal Hill was supposed to fight in that one too, but he got canceled as well. He was gonna fight Khalil Roundtree, but
we'll see. We come back next week. We'll know the results of round 1 of the NBA draft as they made it a 2-night event. So Wednesday is round 1, round 2 is Thursday nights, just before the NBA to make more money. But we'll find out what the Pistons decide to do. If they take your boy Bezelis or if they go the opposite direction and possibly take my boy Connect or Spawn Castle. We'll see what happens.
Bezelis or Cody Williams are the 2 guys I want them to take. You're
very interested tomorrow to see what Trajan Langdon and Tom Gores, if he has anything to say at all. So we'll see. But great show, Reid.
Yeah, great show. Sad we lost Raaj for this one, the last half of this one. But as he would say, make sure you like, comment, subscribe down low.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday or Thursday. We got to figure that out, but we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.